You know what I think? I've never
Trump.
seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him,
but you know what?
somehow these documents appear.
But here's the thing. Biden is wrong to have done this. He was in office.
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. So I'm excited about it.
Clocking hands on the View Unravel about almost getting Trump before Biden stolen classified document bombshell drop. I've done about 2 videos partaking to these people. They did a segment where they are so furious. They never expected this. They are unhappy. On this clip, we are going to take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly.
You know what I think? I've never
Trump.
seen a luckier person than Donald Trump. Just as we're this close to getting him,
but you know
somehow these documents appear.
But here's the thing. Biden is wrong to have done this. He was in office
Well,
for 40
let's
years.
find out what this is first. Now, again, one of the things that gets me crazy is before we know, it's already been spun a specific way. I don't want to see that. I want to see someone explain to me, A, how it's possible that after all this time, nobody knew this. Because to me, if you're missing classified information, I don't mean to laugh, but in my house, if stuff is missing, I know it's missing.
Does it feel like Oppo research to you? Does it feel like the Republicans are behind it?
It's not.
It did originally, but I'm sorry, but not now, because one of the things he's saying is that, you know, some of the locations where the docs may have been shipped in the transition may have gotten taken and put. But
So our current and former president both have special counsels investigating them right now. I think this is unprecedented, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unprecedented.
I was going to say.
Okay.
Classified material next to your Corvette. What were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage. Okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street. But at any rate.
In a locked garage.
Yes, as well as my Corvette. I take classified documents and classified material seriously.
This is unprecedented. They are so furious that the former president and Vice President Joe are facing this at the same time. There is this argument that liberals are bringing up on social media. I don't know if you've seen. They are asking questions. Why is it that Merrick Garland took a very short time to appoint a special counsel to oversee this? Is it that he was afraid of the former president or what? I went through some articles, comment sections to actually understand what they are talking about. They seem not to be happy why this is happening. Some says maybe they decided to plant this evidence so as to annul the case.
Continue to fully cooperate. We have been. The president's lawyers and team has been fully cooperating with the Department of Justice, and they're certainly going to do that with the special counsel.
And so, by that reasoning, would the president agree to sit for an on-the-record, in-person interview?
I'm not going to get into specifics or get ahead of what's going to happen. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals because that is a hypothetical. What I will say is we have addressed this multiple times at length, and we are going to continue, the president's team is going to continue to fully cooperate with the Department of Justice, and we respect that process, and that's what we're going to do.
The president has said he hopes to speak about this soon. When can people expect to hear from him about it?
Again, that is something that I don't have a magic wand here. I don't know when that's going to happen. What I can say is his team is going to fully cooperate with the Department of Justice. Let's not forget, the president said during the campaign that when it comes to the Department of Justice independence, he respects that. And that is something that he had said was incredibly important to make sure that they had their independence. That's why we say we're going to make sure that they have their independence, and that's why I'm saying that we're going to refer to Department of Justice.
What exactly is going on? The former president tweeted this the other day. This came out before the midterm election. They saw this, no information surfaced on social media, nobody reported it. After December, we started hearing this. What could be going wrong? Something is actually wrong here. Imagine you've seen something. Let's just take, for example, if they saw this document around that period, you know, with the former president, it could have been top news of the day because they are using it as a political advantage to them. But now they realize, like, if they bring this out on social media, it will do more harm than good. The reason they decided to suppress the story, not to surface on social media. The more I struggle to understand these people, sometimes I get confused because they keep changing like chameleons. The politics is high.
Also the archives. Look, I have.
You guys have answered questions when the press has broken in the news.
Because it's an ongoing process. Because, again, it is an ongoing process. There is a process here. The Department of Justice is independent. We respect that process. But again, I have taken questions. I can take two questions through 100 questions. I have answered your questions as almost every day on this issue. And again, anything else that you may have, anything that's related to the review, I would refer you to the Department of Justice.
One last question, because I know you've got to move on here. But the president campaigned on the argument that he would restore confidence. We know that he's in the process of deciding whether to officially announce he's running for re-election. Does this episode undercut that argument that he would restore confidence? Because here we have in the headlines that he is now under investigation.
He's restored independence in the Department of Justice. That's what we're doing here. When we're saying we're going to refer you to the Department of Justice, that is restoring independence as it relates to issues like this. And that is important to the president. And it's been consistent. What I am saying about investigations has been consistent for the last 2 years. You've heard me over and over again when it comes to...
I'm happy the mainstream media is calling this out. Karen seemed not to be getting or ready to answer the questions. She has not responded to any question here. All I get is I will refer you to the Department of Justice, where it's an independent body, totally insane. When I look at her, sometimes I begin to wonder if this is actually a press secretary. Because as a press secretary, your duty is to respond to questions accordingly. Not every single time you are supposed to refer. I don't want to talk. I don't want to do this. It's like you are a defensive mechanism to the regime. Stand up, speak out, answer questions the way they are supposed to be answered. Not all these defensive mechanisms